1 second. Okay. Um, so hey everybody, thank you for joining us for the business of influencing, mastering content algorithms and growth in 2025. We are here to talk about the state of social media today, especially in light of all the fun stuff happening around TikTok. So we're excited for everyone to be here for this Native Collective event. We're going to deep dive into the state of content creation, how to navigate shifting algorithms, and how to essentially future-proof your brand. Before we get started, though, like I mentioned, we want to talk about the giant elephant in the room, which is the TikTok ban. So, a brief history for anyone who hasn't been lucky enough to have to follow this saga or charade, as I've called it. Over the past few years, TikTok has been under scrutiny for data privacy concerns and for its ties to a foreign government. So, TikTok's ultimate parent company, ByteDance, is a Chinese-owned entity. And US officials have questioned whether user data could be accessed by foreign officials for espionage or possibly worse, leading to debates about national security concerns and the safety of millions of users, brands, and their data. In today's world, data is king. It's no longer cached, it is now king. So all these social media sites, they are not selling us images and reels and content and warm, fuzzy feelings. They are selling data. They're selling data to us. They're selling data to advertisers, anyone funding these apps in their business. They're selling insight into how people live, shop, how people think. That is what makes these companies billion-dollar businesses. So the fear with TikTok is that the valuable data that they have could be accessed by these foreign governments. So lawmakers push for stricter regulations. So a law was passed requiring TikTok to sell its US operations to a US-based entity or face a ban. The ban was really targeted only at service providers, so only the app stores like Apple, Google, they would no longer be allowed to make the app available for new downloads. So anyone who already had the app would have presumably still been able to have some level of access to it. But it was actually TikTok that said no, they threatened to shut down the whole operation. So like no one could do anything in the US, no one could see anything. So maybe they were playing a little hardball, maybe it was a little posturing. We don't know. So as Biden's term came to an end, he basically said he wasn't going to make a decision on it. He left it to Trump. The law allowed for a 90-day extension if there were some negotiations in play about the sale of TikTok. And so when Trump took office on Monday, he executed the 90-day extension. So presumably some talks are ongoing. There's been some rumors about Elon Musk purchasing it. Mr. Beast supposedly has a group of billionaires who are interested in purchasing it. Trump wants the US government to own 50% of it. So that would be interesting. So ultimately, we'll have to see what happens. TikTok is probably going to go for somewhere at least around 40 to 50 billion dollars. So what we're here for today is talk about the uncertainty that kind of puts on creators. So, you know, the tough choice is, do you stay on TikTok and hope for the best for another 90 days, see if you can get any more deals, squeeze every drip drop out, and maybe it will be divested and sold to an American entity and continue running? Or do you pivot to other platforms and sort of start planting the seeds there? So later in the presentation, hopefully if we have time, we'll talk about the alternative apps that people are going to, which is really a very interesting scenario. Um, but the kind of bigger picture is that, we could preach to creators all day, every day, the importance of diversifying platforms, but this is really the best case. I mean, this proves that more than we ever could have, right? Because the social media platforms are not set in stone. They could be here today, gone tomorrow. They can change, evolve, disappear, poof, they're gone. So it's no longer really optional to diversify. Now it's pretty essential. So this event is important because we will talk about how to equip yourself with the knowledge and tools to navigate these different apps and as they evolve. So with that, let's get started. And I will turn this over to Jess, who is our brand strategist at Native. Jess.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna just go ahead and dive in and let the fun begin. I'm gonna cross my fingers that this shares smoothly because I swear sometimes Zoom does what it wants. Okay, I'm assuming everyone can see this.
Yes, we can see.
Um, so we're just gonna go over this real fast. I won't, take tons of time. And then afterwards, I'll hand it over to Ashley if she wants to send it out to y'all or whatever. But yeah, so let's dive in. We're gonna talk Instagram and TikTok. I will tell you, I would say the majority of it is probably going to be Instagram just because, like she said, we don't know what's going on with TikTok. So I do touch briefly on that. But take it with what you want at this point. So our rundown is going to be we're going to talk the current IG algorithm because that changes constantly. Who to be following for updates as far as the algorithm goes, what TikTok looks like or looks for to push videos, the perfect bio, how to grab brands' attention, attracting the right audience, and then taking advantage of affiliate marketing. So, all right. The current IG algorithm. So most of y'all probably know, but IG changes constantly. And when I say that, their main big algorithm actually does not change that often, but they do little tiny tweaks that are just enough that it requires creators to stay on top of it. And they do those a little bit more often. So first and foremost, I tell everybody that I talk to when they're trying to figure out the algorithm is y'all need to be following Instagram for big business. There's Instagram for business, and then there's the creators page. If you're not following those two Instagrams, I would open up your phone and make it happen. They are constantly posting tips and tricks and just what you can do to be able to get on their search page, win over the algorithm, the new functionality, what to try, and so on and so forth. So for example, I'm like, I don't know if I put it on here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So, and then I said to the creators page. So this is what the creators page looks like. It's literally just creators. And then here's kind of the tips and tricks that I was going to dive into. I was going to talk about the trial reel, but I was like, I feel like I wrote that down. So first and foremost, if y'all are keeping watermarks on your reels, from TikTok to reels and vice versa, that's something that's just got to go. I hate saying that just bluntly, but the two do not like when you have the logos on either one. Like they just kick it out. So that's probably my first huge one. Um, Reels and carousels seem to be their top algorithm picks right now. And it's with the music. So the biggest thing that you have to watch when you're picking a reel sound or throwing it over a carousel is it will tell you if those sounds are trending. So it gives you like a little arrow. It's like a little side arrow next to it on the sound. And it will say in little italicized letters trending. So that's probably the biggest thing to watch for when you are picking a sound. And the sooner you jump on a trending sound in its earlier stages, the better it's going to be for you. If you're jumping on at the end, you might get a little bit of traction, but you're going to see the best if you jump on really early. And then number three is keep your videos under 90 seconds. And that actually came from the Instagram business page. So that's what I'm saying. Like, follow that. They do these fun little podcast things where they share the videos on their page and they talk to the creators team as well. So the creators team came on there. This was probably 2, 3 weeks ago and basically said, if you want to be on the discovery page with your reels, they have to be under 90 seconds. Anything more than that, if you're sharing it as like a video, because you can share a video that's longer and it turns it into a reel. But if it's over that 90 seconds, it's not going to go on their discovery page, which really it really limits you. So yeah. Number four, jump on the new trial reel feature. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but there is a new option when you go to share your reel, and you can toggle it. It says literally new trial reel. What it does is it doesn't actually share it with your audience, so it will not go in your feed, at least not right away. You can set the settings so that within 72 hours, if it has good traction, it will automatically like be on your main profile page, but initially it will not. What it does is it shares it to like a new audience. So this is a really good chance to be able to kind of test some different content and send it out to people that don't follow you and try and grab them in. Because if it starts, picking up traction, things like that, then you're going to get the good views and then it's going to go on your page. And that's how it chooses it. So if you have the settings set at that 72-hour thing, then it will go on your page once it has like that good traction going on it. But Instagram loves when you try all of their features, their new things that come out, their fonts, everything. The more you're using in the actual Instagram app, the better, the more they like it. Five, set up IG threads and automatically share these. It's funny because I feel like threads are hit or miss. People are like, it's the same concept as X. So, and it really is, but it's really easy for you to just set it up. Like, again, it's just that toggle. Like, if you're sharing it to your Facebook page, same concept. There's a toggle when you share. Just set it up so it automatically goes to your threads. I don't think you need to do more than that. If you want to jump on threads once or twice a month and, post something random, have at it. But again, Instagram likes to see all, using all those things that they have. So, yeah. And then number six, consistency is key. They want to see you active on their app as much as possible. So I always recommend to people to at least be on stories every single day. I know that sounds like a lot, but just one slide. You know what I'm saying? One slide, one quick video, whatever you want on stories so that you're keeping active on the app. It's not realistic for people to be able to post every day. I just know that. So at least if we can get on stories once a day, it's better. We're on the radar and we are active on the app. So yeah. And then one that I didn't put on here that I'll touch touch on really quick because we're talking about being active on the app is make sure you're commenting and like engaging in other people's posts. Those are two big things as well. If you're strictly just focused on your things, they'll see you active, but they want to see you talking to other people too. So just make like a little note of that. So we'll jump to TikTok really quick and then we kind of dive into more like content strategy. But this is kind of what does TikTok look for in order to get on their For You page? And we don't know what the future is for TikTok, like Ashley said. So keep this in your back pocket, use it over the next 90 days if you want. And yeah. I don't think it's a bad thing though to just stay on it because if it stays, then great. You were already on top of it and growing as is. So the top 5 tips that I have for you are leveraging trending sounds. That's probably my biggest top one. And trends. So TikTok is really focused and based on those two things. They like trending sounds and they like trends. The more often you're doing those trends and sharing things that makes sense, don't force it. I always say don't force it. If you have something that you can jump in on a trend with that makes sense, do it. Those videos go viral a heck of a lot easier than like your normal original content. So yeah. And then engage with other accounts. Same concept as Instagram. Honestly, if I'm being real, the two with their algorithms, they're very similar. It's just on their own individual apps. The only main difference that I will say, and this is the next thing I'm talking about, is Instagram is kind of going away from hashtags. So they're more using keywords and search function now. So in your captions and stuff, like you'll want to include keywords, things that people might want to look up, that have to do with whatever you're posting. Whereas TikTok still does use hashtags. Now, hashtags are very helpful, but I would not jump on the hashtags that have quite literally a million uses. So hashtag Fipe, I stay away from it. Hashtag for you page, for you, any of those things, like they're overused. It's just not going to do anything. So yeah. Um, and then be consistent and scroll on this is actually a big one. And Instagram, some people will tell you it helps and it doesn't. I haven't seen a huge difference, so I didn't even put it on Instagram. But TikTok, I will say that I do always see a difference, and I have seen it on their creators side too, where they've talked about it as well. Scroll on TikTok before and after posting, so that you can show that you're actively on the app. So I would say scroll for 5 minutes, post something, and then scroll for another 10, comment, like have fun, whatever. Videos just do better when you are still on TikTok afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so crafting the perfect bio. This is gonna go. I did a site for TikTok and a site for Instagram because they are just a smidge different. TikTok is very short, sweet, to the point. Maybe a smidge of humor. So, for an example, I mean, I've seen people be like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, it's just like funny, quick, little witty things that they have in their bio. I would connect it to your IG account. So some people will actually write their handle in it, and that's fine, but they have the functionality now to connect the two. So connect it and take that out because you only get so many character counts. On TikTok, I actually say limit emojis. I wouldn't use a ton. It's not overly done there. And then include a link if you have over 1,000 followers. You can only include a link to your whatever it is, affiliate, blog, website. You can only include that if you have over 1,000 followers. It's not open for under. And then 2 to 3 search friendly words. So if you are an interior designer, like include those words in your bio somewhere so that people can find it that way. Instagram, so they actually just changed this, and I'm so mad because I kid you not, this changed probably 2 days ago. So the first one does not even work anymore. They don't have the name part on Instagram anymore. If you've updated the app, so it's not there. But I will say include these in your bio. Again, it's those keywords. It's whatever your like title, description, whatever, because Instagram focuses so much more on keywords than TikTok does. And you can see that if you search on it on their search thing. Like if you type in chef, like you'll get chefs. So yeah. Instagram, I recommend doing one emoji per line, and typically at the beginning, that's just purely an aesthetic thing. That's what most people do. Include a contact email. You can either have it as the email button, or if you want to drop it down and put it as an email. I typically don't recommend writing a bunch of words with it, but more so drop in like a little cute email emoji and then the email itself. If you want to write anything, I wouldn't write more than the word like collabs and then the email. I wouldn't write paid partnership. I wouldn't write things like that. Yeah. And then again, the keywords, I just touch on that again and why they want to follow you. That's why it's huge. And in that bio on Instagram, it's going to be so important to include something that's going to make people want to stick around. So if they're coming from a reel or something that they saw on their explore page, they want to know why they want to continue following you. So, drop something in there. Grabbing brands' attention. So now we're kind of going into content strategy, if you will. The best practices to grab their attention, I kind of break it down into 6 here. First and foremost, so I guess really, really quick, because I know we have somewhat of a time crunch, but I have actually worked on both sides for like 13 years. So I have worked on the influencer side, and I have worked on the brand side, and I have worked in the marketing of influencer relationships. So I've done it all. But my point of saying that is not to be like, hi, I've done all the things, is I really know what brands look for because I've done it a lot. And one of the biggest things that brands will talk about constantly behind the scenes is they will get people come and pitch to them or DM them or whatever and ask to collaborate, especially on DMs. Now, email, they may not notice, but on DMs especially, it tells you if you're following. So, they'll get emails or I mean, they'll get DMs and it'll say like, "Hey, I love you so much. I'd love to collaborate," but you're not even following them. So, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't look super authentic. So, that's my first thing is follow them on social media. I know you might be following 1,000 people. That's fine, but it looks so much better if you're reaching out to a brand and you actually follow them. Yeah. Number two, if you already use their products, tag them organically in stories, in posts, in reels, whatever. Whatever you feel comfortable with, tag them. You already have them, might as well. But that gives them the ability to, when they see an email or a DM come in, they can actually look at the history and see, oh, they've tagged us before, they've used us. Like, clearly they do like us. Number three is share affiliate links from their brands if they're on Like to Know It or Amazon. I will dive more into the affiliate thing underneath just really quickly. I won't spend a ton of time on that, but if you have the Like to Know It platform, or if you have Amazon associates or Amazon creators where you can grab those affiliate links, I highly recommend using them because brands love to see analytics and proof that their stuff is going to do well. So, the more you have to show them, the better. So, yeah. And then I put in parentheses here, and some of y'all may already know this, but I don't know if you guys have seen, I mean, I swear you guys probably have, but a lot of people will put on their Instagram now, like comment, blah, 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 and I'll send you the link. Comment link, comment shop, and I'll direct message you the link. So the two platforms that they use for that are ManyChat and LinkedIn. Personally, I hate ManyChat. It is not user friendly. It literally has so many glitches. It's a pain to use. Um, and it's more expensive than LinkedIn, which doesn't make sense to me because it just really isn't user friendly. LinkedIn, I love it. I think it's great. You can connect more than one Instagram if you have multiple, and it's just very straightforward. So, what like kind of how it works is you put the link in there and it goes to your next post. And then once you hit submit and save all that, and then you post on Instagram, it connects the two. So if people comment that word, that keyword of shop, it will automatically send them a message in their DM with the links. So this is a great opportunity for you to be able to use those affiliate links and make commission that way. Yeah. Number four is network. I mean, network, network, network. I can't scream it enough. If you have an event opportunity to go, go. There's typically multiple brands at those things. If you are going to get together with other creators, same concept. I will say not all creators are willing to share and, do whatever, but for the most part, I think most are pretty nice and they're willing to, all talk and network with each other. But yeah, so I would jump on that. Even if they have a free event going on, I don't know, let's say one of the makeup brands is doing an event at an Ulta near you. Like that's your chance to jump on it and go in there and meet and just like discuss and all of that stuff. Even if it has nothing to do with creators or influencers. Yeah. Number five, interact with their content and DM them on Instagram. So that goes back to number one. Make sure you're following them, but interact with their content. Like catch their attention. You know what I'm saying? Comments are the new thing on TikTok and on Instagram. People love to read comments because they're funny. Like people, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's serious anymore, so they're just they're funny. So, do that. Have fun. Comment that like catches their attention. And then number six, be consistent but not pushy or over the top. And that just goes with if you reach out to a brand, I think being consistent and following up, over a 2-3 week period is fantastic. But I think if you're, constantly sending a message every single day or just being overly pushy, it kind of turns them off. So it's important to remember too that brands, I mean, there's been a couple brands that I've worked for where I'm not kidding you, we would get 200 emails a day from creators. So you have to remember that like they have so many things coming in. So it might take 2 weeks for them to respond. It's not that they're ignoring you. So yeah. And then next is attracting the right audience. I think this is huge. I think a lot of people focus so much on getting followers and getting viral and whatever so that people come in, but sometimes it's not the right audience. So then in turn, your analytics and your sales and things like that just don't turn around. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's hard. So these are my just like quick tips for that as far as attracting the right audience. And I just want everyone to know too, it's not too late, even if you think like your audience is not the perfect match right now. Like you can turn it around still with these tips. So first, you got to define what your audience is. Figure out what you're focusing on, what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are a lifestyle creator, like you'll have some sort of audience. Example, I could be a lifestyle creator, but I'm also a mom. So like my lifestyle people is probably going to be more moms. Do you know what I'm saying? Moms in their 30s, like that's just you'll have kind of a niche if that makes sense. Number two is make content that is going to bring them in. So they want to see relatable things. So whatever you're doing, like relate to those people, whether you're health and wellness, post things that they want to see, funny things, tips and tricks, whatever, things that are going to bring them in. Three, use brands that align with that audience. So try and work with brands that quite literally have very similar audiences to you. Because you guys can kind of piggyback off of each other. Take advantage of hashtags and keywords, like I said with TikTok and Instagram, and then be authentic. That's probably my biggest thing. One of the biggest points that they have said for 2025 is that social media is just not as curated anymore. Like it's going to more of like authenticity and just real. So that's like the hugest thing is don't feel like you have to be somebody else. Be authentic to yourself and share like what you love and who you are. Your For You page and discovery page is really telling. So if you're trying to figure out what your audience is, go and look on there and see what kind of things pop up. Now, if it's something totally different than what you are aiming for, that means you probably don't have the perfect audience quite yet. So we've got to shift and change things. So this goes hand in hand with who you're following too. So follow accounts that go with your audience. Yeah. But that's just a little tip. So if you're trying to figure out your audience, look at your discovery page, especially on Instagram, and you'll kind of get a good view at that. And if it is totally off, then you know, like, okay, we've got some fixing to do. Interact with similar accounts and creators. Look at your analytics on Instagram. You can go to the back page, see all your analytics. If you are trying to attract a more prominently women audience and you go there and you're 70% men, we got some work to do. So, yeah, so go back there and look and see what you're at. And I recommend doing this, analyzing and adjusting each month. So look at your analytics every month, like see where you need to adjust, see how they're going after taking these tips and tricks. And if you're kind of trending in the right direction, it's not going to happen over a month. It's going to take a solid year. Like it's not a fast thing. And I think that's something that people forget. Yeah. And then collaborate with similar brands and creators. I have touched on that. So yeah. Affiliate marketing. I think this is the last thing. So I'll touch really quickly on this, and then I'm gonna let Daryl jump in, because he touches a little bit more on some of the collaboration platforms. But affiliate marketing is really, really huge. Like I said before, it gives you the chance to have real life examples and analytics for brands on why they should work with you. I mean, you can literally search and like to know it, a specific brand and say, oh, hi, I have a 40% conversion rate, or, whatever. Like, that's perfect to be able to send them those analytics. Number two, when used successfully, it attracts their attention. They get reports on all of this. So the brands are able, like they get reports probably, I think once a month for Like to Know It. I don't know about Amazon or Share Sale, but Like to Know, I do know it's once a month. They get those reports and they can see like, oh dang, we have a top creator. Like this is her. She's selling a ton of our stuff. And that's a great chance for them to reach out and continue a partnership. My top three places to start are Like to Know It, Share a Sale, and then Amazon Associates. Like to Know It is great. It's pretty much, and Share a Sale. They have basically, I would say, most retailers that you're going to share are on those two.
Jess,
And
I'm so sorry.
no, you're
We
fine.
only have like a few minutes left
That's
actually.
fine. That's
Um,
fine. Yeah.
So that was perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, Daryl, you jump over. Yep.
I just want to say really quickly first, going back to the TikTok thing, because I know that's really big on everyone's mind. I wanted to say quickly the other apps that people are jumping to have been Red Note, Lemonade. Ironically, they are both Chinese owned. Lemonade is ByteDance owned, so I don't think we're getting it. But also, the law's been all over the place. So, like, how could you get it? There's Fanbase, that is an American owned app, that is an African American owned app. So there are some options. We're still we might have to do another call on just like where are we all going, and what apps are great. But just so you know, the main ones being downloaded now still have the same problem as TikTok. So we haven't quite figured it out yet. Okay, Daryl, over to you. We have about 5 minutes left.
I'm like, did we lose him? I don't see him up there anymore.
Okay. So we'll see if he comes back, but then maybe we can spend more time talking about the other apps. Have you tried any other apps? Have you thought about whether you're going to switch to anything else? Um, or just stick it out on TikTok?
Right now, I'm just staying on TikTok, but I mean, Red Note seems to be a huge thing. People are going. I think people are almost going to it though as a like rebellious thing. I don't know if they're gonna stay on Red Note.
Yeah. One of the things I forgot to mention about TikTok, you have heard me say this a bunch of times, is that although the Instagram and TikTok algorithms are similar, it does seem like people have found more success growing their audience quicker on TikTok. And so as we're thinking
Definitely.
about do we switch, do we stay, that is a factor to consider. And then the other thing is I have seen bigger deals on TikTok. I have seen more money thrown around at people on TikTok. I don't know, maybe because they have bigger audiences, I don't know, but I have done my biggest deals on TikTok. So that is another factor to consider. When we figure out what we want to do, are we kicking TikTok to the side or are we sticking it out?
I know. I'm
Uh,
interested to see too if new apps come out because I think some are going. I think there's gonna be. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. I would think so too. There's clearly space for them. I mean, I keep saying like, how many more apps are we going to have? you know, and then there comes another one, and we jump on it. I personally like Threads. Um, I also find on Threads for some reason it's easier to get a post to go viral. I don't know. I don't
It
really know
is.
exactly about their algorithm, but I've enjoyed Threads. Kind of for that reason. Um, so yeah, but I kind of feel like I'm apped out. So I just would like to know the one that we are going to, and then jump on that one. Um, okay, so let's see, unless you have anything else you think we should share, we can wrap up and until next time. So we're gonna do some more of these just as things evolve, especially with TikTok, and beyond. So that's it. Thank you, Jess. Thank you everyone for joining.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.